Welcome to my YouTube channel, Soul Velocity. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that will separate your habits from your destiny. The title is Discipline versus Motivation. Know the difference. And I've broken this journey down into 10 powerful parts, each one built to challenge, stretch, and grow you. So buckle up. Let's begin with part 1. I am not my past. I am my potential. You are not broken. You are not finished. You are not your mistakes. Let me say it again for the people in the back. You are not your past. You see, people will try to keep you where they met you. They'll remind you of what you did, what you couldn't do, what you failed to become. But none of that defines you, because your past is a classroom, not a cage. Steve Harvey always says, the reason your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror is because what's in front of you is more important than what's behind you. That's real. You were not born to be stuck in a loop. You were born to grow, to evolve, to stretch beyond who you were yesterday. And if you're breathing today, then your potential isn't done speaking. It's whispering loudly. It says you can change, you can rebuild, you can break the chain, you can leave behind the name they gave you. Because belief, true belief, starts not in the results you've seen, but in the decision to move forward, even when the past screams louder. People will always try to remind you of your lowest moment. You've got to remind yourself of your highest possibility. And that starts with your mindset, because mindset is not motivation. It's not hype. It's not feel good. It's the silent architecture behind every choice you make. Mindset says, I don't care what I came from. I care where I'm going. I don't care what broke me. I care what I'm building. I don't care how many times I fell. I care that I stood up one more. When Steve Harvey tells his story about homelessness, about rejection, about sleeping in his car, he doesn't tell it to impress you. He tells it to remind you that past does not equal potential. You've got to stop rehearsing your pain and start rehearsing your possibility. Every single person who ever became something great started from somewhere small, but they refused to let the small place define their permanent position. So here's your new mindset. I'm not ashamed of where I started because it shaped me. I don't hide my past. I rise from it. I am not limited by what happened to me. I'm expanded by what I choose to become. You can't control what's behind you, but you can completely control what's ahead, starting today. This is your moment to shift, to believe, to let go of the labels they gave you, to rewrite the story they told about you, because you are not your past. You are your potential. Part 2, the power of belief. What you say to yourself shapes your life. Let me ask you something real. What words do you whisper to yourself when no one else is around? Because that voice, that internal conversation, is either your prison or your passport. See, people think belief is a feeling, like confidence just shows up when things are working. But Steve Harvey knows better. He says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Belief ain't about what's visible, it's about what's possible. And it begins with what you say to yourself when you're at your lowest. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I always mess it up. Those thoughts, they're seeds. And what you plant in the soil of your mind grows. You don't rise higher than the story you tell yourself. Let me say that again. You don't rise higher than the story you tell yourself. If your internal dialogue is built on fear, shame, doubt, and insecurity, you will never see the truth of your potential. But the moment you shift that voice, even just a little, from self-judgment to self-recognition, the world around you begins to follow. Steve Harvey didn't wait for the world to believe in him. He believed in himself when he had nothing but a dream and a dollar. He looked in the mirror and said, I am more than this struggle. I am the next chapter. So I ask you, what is the next chapter you're willing to believe? You don't have to believe you're perfect. You don't have to lie to yourself. But you do have to believe that you're becoming something better. Try this. Every morning, say 3 things. 1, I am capable. Speak them until your fear packs up. Speak them until your old self doesn't recognize you anymore. Because belief isn't just internal, it's energetic. It moves things. It creates momentum. It calls forward the next version of you. And when your belief rises, your standards rise, your circle rises, your decisions rise, your future responds. Say it with me. I speak life over myself. I plant powerful truth in my mind. I don't rehearse pain, I rehearse promise. This is not fluff, this is foundation. Because when your belief shifts, your behavior follows. And when your behavior shifts, your destiny aligns. So speak it, build it, believe it. Part 3, rewriting the inner script, healing the narratives that hold you back. Before you can become someone new, you've got to confront the story that's been silently running your life, because whether you know it or not, you're following a script, and that script was written by your childhood, your environment, your failures, your pain. Steve Harvey says, your setback is a setup for a comeback, but if you never rewrite the meaning of that setback, you'll keep reliving it. Most people aren't trapped by their situation. They're trapped by the story they've attached to their situation. I always mess things up. People like me don't win. No one ever showed me how. That's the inner script, and it runs deeper than logic. It hides in your choices, in how you show up, in how you speak about yourself, in what you think you're allowed to dream. But here's the truth. You are the author now. The pen is in your hand. The next chapter is blank. And no matter how many old lines try to show up again, you get to rewrite them. Let's go deeper. Take one limiting belief you've carried for years. Now ask yourself, where did it come from? Whose voice was it originally? Is it still true today? What does a new empowering version sound like? Steve Harvey had to rewrite his script. He went from hearing, "You'll never be anything," to telling himself, "I am God's child, and I've got a destiny that doesn't need permission." That shift didn't come from outside, it came from inside. So here's your work. Every time you catch yourself thinking an old line, pause. Don't argue with it. Just replace it. Replace, "I'm not ready," with "I'm becoming ready every day." Replace, "I always fail," with "every setback is refining me for a greater rise." Replace, "I don't deserve success," with "I was created with purpose, and purpose deserves progress." This is not pretending. This is healing, because the inner script was never supposed to stay the same. It's meant to evolve with your growth. Say it with me. I break from the old script. I speak from truth, not trauma. I write my own story with power. You can't outrun your past, but you can outgrow its meaning, and that's where freedom lives. Part 4, unlearning limits, breaking the mental patterns that keep you small. There's a moment in every life where you've got to ask, who taught me to settle? Because most limits are not real, they're learned. You weren't born afraid. You weren't born doubtful. You weren't born telling yourself, "I can't." That was programmed by pain, by patterns, by people who gave up before you ever got started. Steve Harvey says, your career, your success, your breakthrough, it all expands as far as your mind allows it. So if your mindset is small, your life shrinks to match it. But if you break that frame, your world expands. Let's be real. There are thoughts you inherited that were never meant to be yours. Thoughts like, "People like me don't get ahead. I should just be grateful and not ask for more. Dreams are for other people." Those thoughts, they were passed down, maybe from your parents, maybe from your environment, but they don't belong to your future. Unlearning isn't forgetting. Unlearning is consciously breaking agreement with the thoughts that keep you small. It means challenging your doubts, questioning your old assumptions, replacing "I can't" with "let's see what happens when I try." Steve Harvey didn't come from privilege, he came from persistence. He unlearned the language of limitation and replaced it with faith, repetition, and fierce self-talk. You've got to do the same. When a thought shows up saying, "Stay quiet," speak louder. When it says, "Don't try," go all in. When it says, "You're not enough," remind it who you're becoming. Because every time you choose power over programming, you grow. And that growth isn't just for you, it becomes permission for someone else. Say it with me. I am unlearning smallness. I reject fear as fact. I rewrite what's possible for my life. Your past may have taught you limits, but your future is begging you to drop them. Don't let yesterday's patterns predict tomorrow's potential. You are more than the box they tried to fit you in. You were born to break it. Part 5, reclaiming worth. You are already enough to begin. Let's set the record straight. You don't need to earn your worth. You were born with it. That might be hard to believe. If you grew up with voices that only loved you when you performed, if your worth was tied to grades, approval, status, hustle, or perfection, then somewhere along the way, you were taught that you had to do more to be more. Steve Harvey says, you have everything you need to get started because God doesn't make mistakes. That's not cliche. That's a foundation. You were not created defective. You were not born unqualified. You were not sent here to prove something. You were sent here to live something. And until you reclaim your worth, you will keep delaying your beginning. You'll keep waiting to feel ready. You'll keep preparing and doubting instead of moving. But here's the truth. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You are enough right now to start the business. Speak your truth. Forgive that pain. Release that shame. Begin again with dignity. You are enough because you are breathing. You are worthy because you are willing. You are powerful because you are present. Steve Harvey didn't wait until he had a perfect past. He didn't wait until the pain healed before he stepped forward. He walked into his calling with scars and stumbles because he knew destiny doesn't wait for your self-doubt to disappear. So ask yourself, what am I still postponing because I think I'm not enough? What would I try if I already believed I had what it takes? Here's your new truth. You don't have to be the most qualified. You just have to be willing to start. Say it with me. I am already enough to begin. My worth is not up for debate. When you stop negotiating with your worth, you start walking in your power. And when you walk in power, everything starts to move with you. You don't need permission to begin. You just need to stop waiting for someone else to crown you because your crown was never missing. You just forgot it was already yours. Part 6, the inner champion. Building a mind that fights for you, not against you. Every day, you step into a battle, not outside, inside, not with the world, with your own thoughts. Because the real fight isn't out there. It's not with critics or rejection or closed doors. The real fight is with the voice in your head. Steve Harvey says, you gotta get your mind together. Your mind is the battleground. And if your mind isn't your ally, it becomes your enemy. Most people don't fail because of lack of opportunity. They fail because their own mind talks them out of it. They fail because their inner voice is trained in fear, not faith. So here's your truth. You have to build a mind that fights for you, a mind that says, I've got this. I was born for this. I'll find a way even if I don't see one yet. That kind of mindset doesn't just show up. It's built, it's trained, it's conditioned through repetition. You've been rehearsing doubt for years. Now it's time to rehearse belief. Here's how to build your inner champion. 1, challenge every limiting thought. When a thought says you can't, ask it for proof. When it says you always mess up, remind it of one time you didn't. 2, install a power phrase. Something simple, strong, and emotional. Steve's was, I'm gonna be on TV. Yours might be, this is my season, or I'm built for breakthrough. 3, speak out loud daily. Silent thoughts have power, but spoken truth cuts deeper. Speak over your day, speak into your heart, speak through your fear. 4, visualize your strength. Close your eyes and see yourself already walking in your vision, already healed, already winning, already positioned. Because when your mind sees it, your life starts to move toward it. Steve Harvey didn't win by accident. He won because his mind refused to quit, even when his life looked hopeless. That same fight is in you. But you've got to stop making excuses for the enemy inside your head. You've got to fire the old voice and hire a new one, a voice of conviction. Say it with me. I am not here to survive. I'm here to rise. I train my mind for victory. I think in power. I speak in faith. I walk in purpose. This is not a motivational moment. It's a mental revolution. Because once your inner world shifts, your entire life realigns. Part 7, fueling faith. Believing without seeing, trusting without knowing. Faith isn't a feeling. It's not goosebumps. It's not hype. It's not a moment on Sunday. Faith is what you stand on when nothing else is solid. Steve Harvey said it best. Faith is the belief in things you cannot see. And in this life, the people who win the longest aren't the ones who know everything. They're the ones who believe anyway. Believe when it's dark. Believe when it's lonely. Believe when there's no applause, because that's the muscle, that's the fire, that's the difference between giving up and growing through. Most people wait for proof. Faith moves with vision. See, when you believe in your calling before the crowd does, you develop a different kind of strength. One that can't be broken by silence. One that doesn't shake when people doubt you. One that says, God said it. That's enough for me. You've got to fuel that faith like it's oxygen. So how do you do that? 1 point, speak the vision daily. Say it out loud. Make it real. Your words create your world. 2, surround yourself with faithful energy. Don't just hang with positive people. Hang with faith-driven people. People who stretch your belief, not your fear. 3, move even when it doesn't make sense. Don't wait to understand it fully. Faith isn't clarity, it's obedience. 4, look back at what didn't break you. You survived too much to start doubting now. Faith isn't about perfection, it's about movement. It's about saying, I don't have it all figured out, but I trust the next step. Steve Harvey didn't see the stage when he was sleeping in his car, but he kept believing, he kept preparing, he kept praying like he already had it. That's faith, that's power, that's your next level. Say it with me. I walk in faith, not fear. I move from vision, not validation. I trust what's unseen more than what's uncertain. Because sometimes your eyes will lie to you, but your belief, that's the real sight. And once your faith leads, your future follows. Part 8. Daily identity, becoming the person your dreams require. Let's be honest, your dream doesn't just require action. It requires identity. You can't keep chasing big goals with the mindset of the person who started the journey. Because your dream has a voice, and that voice is constantly asking, are you becoming the person who can carry this? Steve Harvey says, you can't go to the next level thinking like you're still on the last one. And he's right. Because the habits that got you here won't take you there. The attitude that carried your survival won't carry your legacy. Every day you are building someone. The question is, are you building a version of yourself that matches your vision? Identity isn't fixed, it's formed. Formed by repetition, formed by decisions, formed by how you respond when no one's watching. So who are you becoming when the camera's off? When the pressure rises, when the world is quiet and your doubts are loud? Because dreams are not just reached, they're matched. Matched by the discipline of the one who's chasing. Matched by the belief of the one who's praying. Matched by the identity of the one who's refusing to quit. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are aligned with. You don't grow into your goal. You build into the character who holds that goal with humility. Steve Harvey didn't just dream of success. He woke up and acted like it was already his. He walked in rooms like he belonged. He trained his identity to mirror the level he was reaching for, not the pain he was leaving behind. So the real question is, are you rehearsing your doubt or are you rehearsing your destiny? Every day is a mirror, and what you practice becomes who you are. Say it with me. I am becoming the person my future requires. I lead with identity. I don't chase, I align. If your dream is heavy, don't shrink it. Strengthen your shoulders. If your future is calling, don't silence it. Grow into it. Because your dream doesn't need a superhero. It needs a consistent version of you, built in private, refined in pressure, and awakened by vision. Part 9. Unshakable commitment. Showing up when it's hard, not just when it's easy. Everyone's committed when it's easy, when it's convenient, when the conditions are perfect and the move feels right. But true transformation begins when you show up, even when nothing in you feels ready. Even when no one's clapping, even when everything in you says quit. Steve Harvey says you have to keep showing up every day, whether you feel like it or not. And that's the difference between a wish and a win. See, motivation is seasonal. It rises and falls with how you feel. But commitment, that's a decision. It's a contract between you and your future. It says no matter what happens today, I'm still going. Most people stop because they confuse difficulty with defeat. But champions understand that pain isn't a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're pushing into growth. There will be days where everything feels stuck, where the path looks darker, where results are invisible and doubts are loud. And on those days, you don't need more inspiration. You need more repetition, because commitment doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, get up, try again, do the next right thing. That's what unshakable looks like. It's not flashy, it's consistent. It's getting up after failure. It's doing the reps without applause. It's being faithful to your vision, even when it's quiet. Steve Harvey didn't succeed because everything was easy. He succeeded because he refused to break his promise to his future self. You've got to do the same. Draw the line, make the vow, say it with your actions. I don't disappear when it's hard. I double down, because success isn't building comfort, it's building consistency. Not just when the fire's burning, but when the spark is barely there and you still show up to fan it into a flame. Say it with me. I am committed beyond convenience. I don't wait for perfect. I create progress. I finish what I start. This isn't about proving something to the world. It's about proving to yourself that your word means something. And when you honor your own word, the world starts to take notice. Part 10, the final shift, becoming the living proof of what's possible. This is it, the part where everything comes full circle, where your past no longer holds the pen, where your future stops waiting on your permission and starts moving with your decision. Because you were never just supposed to be inspired. You were supposed to be transformed. Steve Harvey says when God gives you a vision, he gives you the provision, but you've got to take the step. You've spent your life waiting for signs, for motivation, for someone to believe in you more than you believed in yourself. But now the waiting is over. The next chapter starts with you. Because belief without action is empty, vision without movement is wasted, potential without discipline is just noise. The real ones, they don't talk about what they're gonna do. They become the evidence, they become the walking example. They become the living proof that change is not only possible, it's inevitable when your mindset leads it. So what does that look like? It looks like waking up with clarity. It looks like showing up without applause. It looks like grinding without needing validation. It looks like pushing past fear, doubt, fatigue, and distraction. Not because you don't feel them, but because you've outgrown their control. You are the shift. You are the proof. Someone else needs to believe they can rise too. Don't chase perfection. Chase alignment. Don't wait for the right moment. Be the moment. Don't hope for change. Be the change. Steve Harvey didn't ask for permission to become who he is. He became undeniable. And so can you. Say it with me. I am the living proof. I walk in purpose. I rise with belief. I do what others only dream about because I no longer wait. I decide. This isn't just the end of a script. It's the start of your next level, your moment, your proof. Now go, not just with motivation. Go with mindset, with fire, with consistency, with belief. You are not your past. You are your potential, and the world is about to feel it. And remember, your discipline decides your destiny. This ain't just about motivation. This is about becoming who you were born to be. So keep building, keep showing up, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless you, and keep rising.